Good morning, everyone. This is Mary Elizabeth with Sacred Love Tarot, and this is your pick a card reveal. So I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to shuffle the cards in real time. I first want to go over the three of them, and then we're going to start shuffling some cards and getting the energy behind each card. But we're not going to pause, and we're not going to pre-shuffle, and we're not going to do any of that. This is just going to be the way it is. And I want you guys to let me know if this works for you. So first of all, I want to talk about the three cards together, right? We have Cupid, we have Daydream, we have Surrender, and Release. So let's get into the three cards together. So Daydream says, you will more easily hear and receive our messages if you daydream regularly. Relax and open your mind to receive without directing your thoughts. Just notice any feeling, visions, or ideas as if you were watching a movie. This is the seat of creativity. We shower you with blessings of our radiant love. Open your arms and release any challenges that you hold tightly gripped with your hands. Open your hands, arm, and heart to our love and assistance. That is the release and surrender. Then we have Cupid. We send great waves of love into your heart and mind, awakening love for life itself. Your clear decision to accept and enjoy romance have triggered these reawakenings. Allow yourself to be spontaneous, celebrate love in all of your glorious aspects. Now, for some of you, this could possibly be a relationship reading, right? There's this ideal image that you have in your head of the person that you really desire to be with. When I was single and I had this image in my head of what I was looking for, someone who was funny, someone who was funny and who got my sense of humor, because my sense of humor is purely warped. Someone who loved to cook, someone who was loyal, someone who would express how they felt instead of color coding it or sugar coating it or whatever. So we all have this image in our head of the way we desire life to be and how we want life to go. And even though we have this image in our head of that perfect someone or that perfect place or that perfect space or that perfect situation or that perfect atmosphere, that perfect house, that perfect car, that perfect relationship, that perfect job, that perfect whatever it is in your head, sometimes we have a problem with releasing and surrendering to spirit, to source, to God. We have a problem with saying, okay, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I'm looking for. Bring this or something better to me. I release control to you. God, spirit, source, ancestors, angels, guides, guardians, deities, I give you the wheel. We have a really, really, really hard problems as the human aspect of who we are, releasing and surrendering control over things that we can't see, feel, touch, or taste. We have a tendency to see it before we believe it. So even though we say, I believe in the power of daydreaming, meditation, or prayer, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. I believe in the power, but the problem that we have is surrendering and releasing to that invisibility that we are projecting that daydream, that prayer, or that meditation into. We have a problem with thinking. We have a problem with releasing and surrendering to what we can't see, right? We are looking for that perfect relationship. We're telling spirit what it is that we want. We're that vulnerable. We are that transparent, but we have a hard time believing that the unknown can create this and make this happen in our lives. We have no problem going through a drive-through, telling a complete stranger what we want and having complete faith in them that they are going to reciprocate. They are going to give us what it is that we want. We have no problem trusting that person. We have no problem putting our money in a bank to where we can't see it until we get it out We can't touch it until we get it out. And then we put our money in the hands of people we don't even know. When we take our children to daycare, we put our children, their life, into hands of people we don't even know, because we surrender and release that control enough to trust them. But when Spirit says, look, all you got to do is just daydream about it. All you got to do is meditate on it. All you got to do is reach a vibrational energy to what it is that you want and just release and surrender control. We have a really hard time. We have a really hard time taking advice from Spirit or Source, angels, ancestors, guides, God, whomever. We have a really hard time taking advice and allowing a higher source to steer us or guide us in the direction that we desire to go. But we put our faith in people we don't know. We trust manufacturers to build cars that we drive down the freeway at 80 miles an hour and don't give a second thought if that is going to be all right. We have an infrastructure system that is failing, but we drive our cars 80 miles an hour over bridges. We go into buildings where the infrastructure is shit. We have faith in all of these things that we deal with in our everyday life, but we can't have faith and surrender to a higher source because we can't see it. Let's all think about that for a moment. So this is about loving yourself enough to release and surrender and have faith that what it is that you're asking Spirit and Source for will be yours, that or something better. Because Spirit is never going to bring into your life what isn't meant for you and your life. So we're going to push the Surrender and Cupid cards aside, and we're going to grab a couple of energy oracle cards and see what the energy is around the beautiful daydreaming card. All right, here we go. Oh, we have it. Oh, we're going on a journey. There we go. And we are asked to bring balance into our lives. So this journey could be a physical one. You could be manifesting, praying for, or daydreaming for a trip. You could be manifesting, daydreaming for, praying for a new house, a trip, to get better balanced in your spiritual self, physical self, mental self, emotional self. So there is something that you are attempting to manifest, something that you really, really desire, and you've been daydreaming about it. And this daydream has taken you on this wonderful, beautiful journey. And it's time to kind of release and surrender to that journey. Love yourself enough to release and surrender to this journey that is before you, because it's in that journey where you are going to find the balance that you're looking for, the balance that you seek. So let's see some tarot cards. All right, here we go. Oh, there's a lot of appreciation and recognition here for you, but you make things a lot more difficult on yourself than there needs to be. You don't have to struggle for what it is that you're asking for. All you have to do is believe. And remember, we were just talking about that. I said that we put our hands in our living form, we put our hands in all of these things. We trust that all of these things are going to be beneficial or help us or live up to our expectations or. But we have a really hard time, and we have a really hard time. We struggle with the thought of dreaming something into existence. So I kind of feel that this journey that you're going on is one of being a little bit more open with your with your ability to daydream, being a little bit more open with your faith and spirit, being a little bit more open in your faith with source or God or your angels or ancestors, being a little bit more open and releasing and surrendering that control that you feel that you need to have of the expectations that you have for spirit. So I kind of feel that your journey here is a journey of finding yourself and releasing and letting go, surrendering that control by bringing a little bit of balance in your life. Spirit here is trying to show you that you are more than you give yourself credit for. You're more than the struggle that you and it's like this, the struggle is self-made. It's like I've been through so many disappointments in my life that I struggle with having faith. That's why I struggle with the release. That's why I struggle with the surrender, is that I have had so many disappointments in my life. There have been things that I have been passionate about. There are things that I took, the bull by the horn, and I got like halfway there and it just kind of fizzled out. But did it fizzle out because you lost faith, or did it fizzle out because of your fear? Did it fizzle out because you felt like it was too much of a challenge, or too difficult to complete? Or did it fizzle out because you were evolving and that situation was staying the same? So the moon is here to kind of illuminate all of those answers for you, and only you know those answers. But there is a time of recognition and celebration and appreciation here. So continue on this journey of daydreaming, right? Continue on this journey of fantasizing. Continue on this journey of manifesting what it is that you want, need, and desire. But this time, do it from a space or a place of the power that you have within yourself, right? Because you are a powerful being, and there's the potential here for stability. There's potential here for balance. There's potential here for growth. There's potential here to be your genuine, powerful. I mean, it's like stripping back all the shit that you were taught, all the shit that you were convinced was real, stripping back all of those layers and layers and layers of being convinced that life has to be a struggle in order to succeed. And we also talk about loving oneself and surrendering and releasing to that love you have for yourself, surrendering and releasing so that you're capable of taking this journey and taking those dreams and desires that you have with you on this journey and setting up those boundaries, right? Not allowing other people to convince you that this journey has to be a struggle, because if you don't struggle for it, you won't enjoy it. If you don't struggle for it, it's not meant to be yours. If you're not struggling for it, you won't enjoy it. If. No, it's no one's place to say. No, it's no one's place to tell you that you don't love yourself enough if you're not struggling for what God has for you, or what Spirit has for you, or what Source has for you. You are more than that. You are a divine being having this experience, this co-creation relationship with Spirit, and that is the journey that you're on. And if anyone tells you that that journey needs to be a struggle, or if anyone tells you that to manifest what it is that you're daydreaming should be a struggle, and if there's anyone that tells you you are who you are and you'll always be that, and you're no more you're not a powerful divine being having this co-creation relationship, you're not this, you're not, then it's time to set up boundaries around them and really start connecting to a better time. There's just some things that I want to say, but I shouldn't say, because look, I keep my circle small because I have no time for people telling me that the messages that I receive and what I feel and what I know are untruth, are a lie. I have no space in my place for people who want to fill my head with their own bullshit. I have no space and no place for people who want to manipulate me and keep me down because they fear rising above. I have no place and no space for that. I love myself enough to go on this journey. And I've been on this journey for a really, 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 really long time, because there were things that were instilled in me as a child from the people who said that they loved me that I still have yet to heal from. So this journey for me has one that I've been on for quite some time. So stop struggling so much with the what's, where's, when's, why's, how's. Stop struggling so much to love yourself enough to ask for what you want. Stop struggling with the thought of, is it all real? Can it all be? Because yeah, it is. And yes, it can. There is love here for you. There is success here for you. There is appreciation and recognition here for you. Set up those boundaries and love yourself enough to know that you are worthy of what Spirit is offering you, is bringing you, wants you to have. All right, so if you picked daydream, continue on your daydream. Continue doing what you do. Continue to put that energy out there, but make sure your vibration is rising to the level of the energy that you're putting out there and the desires that you're putting out there. Because if it's not, then you're exerting all of this energy and then contradicting it with low vibrational energy, right? We have that high energy of, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I desire. Then we have that low vibrational energy of, is it real and am I worth it, right? And somewhere in there you have to find that happy medium. You have to answer those questions for yourself. If you had any doubt that the power of your relationship with Spirit was non-existent, you most likely wouldn't be praying, daydreaming, or trying to manifest anyway. So at what point in this scenario does your faith start to waver? Look at that. Go to that point and look at that and ask, why do I have faith enough in Spirit to project that daydream, that fantasy, that manifestation and that prayer, but not enough faith in Spirit to believe that it is already mine and that Spirit is working with me in a co-creation relationship to make it a reality? That's the question that you should be asking yourself, and that is what needs to be brought into balance. That is what needs to be figured out. So if you've chosen number 1, the daydream card, here you go. That's it. That's yours. Let's move on to surrender and release. We talked about it. You know how we feel about it. So let's see what Spirit has to say about it. Our cards here. Oh, we have to make a choice. All right. Look at that. Come on, guys. Really. So we have the card of surrender and release. We shower you with blessings of our radiant love. Open your arms and release the challenges that you've held tightly gripped. So I feel that the Chariot is about making that decision. Do we allow ourselves to surrender and to release to what is in this present moment? Or do we allow ourselves to hold on to that tight grip that we have on the things that we feel that we need to control or be in control of? So you have this opportunity of abundance, of prosperity, of happiness, of crazy manifestations, of beauty, of happiness, of birth, of growth, of ascension, of transition, of transformation. But you're still holding on to things that has no sand in your life anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying by no sand? There's nothing that you can do about it. It has been a part of your existence for a very long time, even though you know that there isn't anything there anymore, right? We have a tendency to hold on to relationships that will never be. We have a tendency to hold on to fantasies and daydreams that will never be. And why? Because we've evolved. We've moved past it. You won't believe how many people I talk to in a day that is wishing and hoping and praying that that old lover comes back. Why would you want them to, though? You've evolved, you've grown, you've moved on from that chapter of your life. Taking that person back would be like going to your trash can, digging for that old piece of gum, and then putting it back in your mouth and continuing to chew it. It has no flavor left. There's nothing there for you anymore. So why are we in this place in space to where we are more focused on the things that we can't have or the things that we've grown out of than we are on this beautiful representation of what can be that is before us, right? So I feel the need for one more card. Yeah, you're holding on to shit that you really, 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 really don't need to be holding on to. There's nothing there for you anymore. There's a time here to open up your heart and to release and surrender whatever it is that you've been holding on to. Release, because Spirit has something more for you, and Spirit is just waiting for you to make the decision, right? Spirit is going, excuse me, but we have all of these great and wonderful opportunities for you here, but for some reason, you would much rather have what it is that you've grown out of, or what it is that isn't significant to you anymore. Hold on for a second. So we would really, really, really appreciate it if you could surrender and release all of that and recognize that you have a world of magic, a world of abundance, a world of prosperity, a world of love and of peace, a world of endless opportunities and possibilities around you. There is something that makes you anxious about releasing and letting go. There's something that makes you anxious about releasing and surrendering what no longer serves its purpose. There's something that makes you anxious about doing that. And you have to get down to the brass tacks of that. You have to figure that out, because the longer you allow all of that, what doesn't serve you, to take up space, it stops you from moving forward to all the great and wonderful blessings in your life. The world is your oyster here. That's pretty much the world card. You could be right now closing doors, releasing old patterns, cutting cords from past situations, past relationships, things that you've grown out of. But instead, you're locked up here in the tallest keep of the tallest tower with all of these locks and cameras, and you're coveting over something that will never be, will never exist, right? And the more you covet, the more that you lock yourself away, the more that you take a step back from what is. The more you take a step back from release and surrender, the more you take a step back from what is divinely yours, the more you step into that anxiety and that uncertainty and that low vibrational energy. So Spirit here is saying, look, we have the world for you. We have everything that you could ever want, need, dream, and desire. And all we're asking you to do is to make a decision to release and let go of what no longer serves you. Release the challenges, release the heartbreak, release the heartache, release the anxiety, release the ability or the desire or the need to covet over all of this. No one's going to take it from you. No one's going to steal it from you. We are trying to put you on a path of abundance, of love, of happiness, of connection to the divine. We're trying to put you on this path of greatness. And we need to know if you're along for the ride. We need to know if you're along for the ride. We need to know if you are capable, able, or desire to release and surrender those things, those challenges that you're holding on to, that you have gripped so tightly. It's time to open all of that and let that go. It's time to let that old relationship go. It's time to heal your heart. It's time to let that old possibility kind of go. Because if it's meant for you, it'll come back around. If it's meant for you, it'll come back around. But right now it isn't. And there's no need for you to put yourself through all of this anxiety and create separation between you and spirit because you feel the need to hold on to it. And I like that we have 18 and 19 right here. I like that we have that because it kind of shows this is where you are and this is where you could be. This is where you could be and this is where you are and this is where you could be. Look, there are days that we have the sun. There are days that we have this amazing feeling of love and life. And then we start thinking about the things that have drifted away from us, that relationship that we can't have. Why are they in a relationship with someone else? I'm right here. Why? Why not this? Why not that? And then we spin ourselves up into this anxiety, this uncertainty, this insecurity. And then we go down that rabbit hole of why can't it be me and why can't it be mine and spirit has forsaken me and everyone has abandoned me and meanwhile the world is continuing to go on and you're missing out on some great fucking adventures. So let's see what the Spellcasting Oracle has to say. All right, so we have the card of clarity. Come on, yeah. Spirit guides are right there asking you, come on, surrender. Surrender a little bit. And this can be beneficial for your family. You know, the need to let go, the guidance to surrender, the guidance to see the clarity, the guidance to let go, the guidance to step out of that anxiety and to step out of that. There's a lot of attention on the Four of Pentacles for me, and it's kind of like you're in this space where you just want to lock yourself away from everything and everyone, right? And if you do have a family, your family takes the brunt of that, right? You may be thinking that you are going to lock yourself away because this isn't working for you and that's not working for you and you feel this way and you feel that way and you have all of these feelings and anxiety and anxiousness going on because these things aren't working. But there are other people who are feeling the effects also of what you're going through. And I think there's a little time, there's a little time for clarity here, to step out of that room and to initiate conversation with your family, with Source, with Spirit, with God, to initiate conversation with someone who could possibly help you, initiate the conversation about direction, initiate the conversation about surrendering and releasing that control that you feel that you need to have over whatever the situation is, and get back out there and start living life. Because there are people who care about you. There are people who see that you may feel as if you're failing, but they don't see you as failing. They don't see that. They see you as a person that they need, that they depend on, a person that they care about, a person that they want to assist and they want to help. Things may be a little cloudy right now. It's time to step out of that room that you've locked yourself behind and see the clarity and get back to living life. Because life is ready for you. There are many great things out there for you, but you have to want those great things. And you have to acknowledge that perhaps some of the things that I want are not meant for me right here, right now. They're not meant for me right here, right now. Something else, something better. But there is knowledge in knowing that there are amazing things out there for me if I am able to release and surrender control. If I am able to make that decision. All right, so if you've chosen card number 2, which was release and surrender, there you are. Here we go. All right, so now we have Cupid. What's that song? Is it Stupid Cupid? What's that song? Anyway, Cupid. So let's see where we are with Cupid. All right. Oh, Lord. Here we go. Okay. So there is a sadness here. There's an a loss of something. A loss, what is this? A loss of a friendship, a loss of a loved one, a loss, a betrayal. Someone hurt you, manipulated you, deceived you, but we have the Ace of Swords here. So I kind of feel Spirit is saying, yes, okay, someone hurt you, someone manipulated you, someone deceived you, but here's the thing though. We have a 10. We're transitioning out of that energy, and it's time for you to kind of see the reality of the situation, to learn the lesson here, right? Yes, this did happen. Yes, someone manipulated you, deceived you, and betrayed you. But the lesson here is now you know. Now you know who this person is, or who they are, quote unquote. Now you know the signs of what to look for. Now you know whom you can trust and who you can't. And the Ace of Swords is here because there are, and it's weird, as you're there, feeling sadness about everything that has happened, there's also this sense of new ideas about what's next. I'm sitting here on the ground. I'm crying over whatever this emotional situation was, be it a breakup, be it heartbreak or heartache, be it manipulation, deception, betrayal. But I have some great ideas on what I need to do next, right? And I find that interesting because Cupid is about making that clear decision to accept what is and to love yourself, to enjoy life, to move forward. Okay, yes, this happened. It did. And now we stand up and we brush the sand off of our legs and we pour ourselves a drink and we take that drink and we move forward with this new sense of peace, this new sense of knowing, this new sense of intuition, right? We can't continue to cry and feel the way we feel. I mean, look, I've been betrayed, I've been hurt, I'm still alive, I'm here. Did it sting? It did. Was it something that was very difficult to get over when it happened? It sure was. But I got over it and I moved past it and I dried my tears and I moved on with life, and now I am in a better place. And that can happen for you too. And it is happening for you, but there is this, you remember the release and surrender card? You know what has happened and you're ready to transition from it. But I kind of feel that there is this sense that if you released or surrendered the control that you have and how you feel, that and it's weird because that it doesn't matter. That what happened doesn't matter, right? Is that weird to say? I know that sometimes when we are heartbroken and we have our cry and we have our outbursts and things like that, and then we move on, there is this projection that the world kind of sees that, oh, well, she's already healed from it and she's stopped crying. She must not have felt that way about it. She must have not, really been that hurt. So it's like we kind of think that there's this grieving, heartbroken kind of time limit that you have to go through, right? This process that you have to go through in order to show people on the outside that, yes, I was hurt, I was grieved, this is how I feel about it, et cetera, right? And everybody has their own process of healing. Everybody has their own process of going through, the hurt and the pain and the deception and how you feel about it and kind of all of that. And none of us heal the same. So if something happened to you and the same thing happened to me, and I'm able to go on about my day without crying or pitching a fit about it, it doesn't mean that it hasn't affected me in a very heartfelt way. It just means that I am not going to allow whatever that was or whoever did that to me have that type of power over me. I'm not going to allow your deception, your backstabbing, your cheating, your hurting me to control my life. I'm not going to allow it to stop me from being a better version of myself. So we all grieve the same. And I think that sometimes people go a little bit overboard with the grieving, because if you were to kind of get up and go, all right, let's go get after it, people would go, well, maybe they weren't that hurt. Maybe they weren't, maybe it all wasn't that bad. And it's shitty for people to say that. And it's shitty that we can't grieve in the way that we choose to grieve without being judged by other people. And I think that's pretty shitty. And I think that it needs to be a topic of conversation, more so than somebody standing on a red carpet being pushed along by a security guard because they can't extend their dress. That's a huge topic. That's a huge topic. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is, in chaos, and people are dying, and people are grieving, and people are being betrayed, and people are struggling and starving and dying, and I get judged for not grieving in the amount of time that grieving should be grieved. So I think the world is pretty upside down and sideways. So the Ace of Swords here offers you all of this, it's like a redo. It's like, we're going to stop thinking about that now. We're going to transition into thinking about something completely different. And what we're going to be thinking about completely different is the love for self and the love for life. We're going to release this and surrender the control over that and what has happened here. And then we're going to love ourselves enough to get back out there and to start new and to start fresh. And aces are always a gift from spirit. And so I kind of feel like we're putting the past behind us. It's not a blank slate whatsoever. It's not. There's still hurt there. There's still pain there. But Spirit is definitely saying it's time to focus on something different, to think about something different, and to move on. Speak the truth that you have to speak. Say what you have to say. Feel how you have to feel. But let's get up and let's go. Let's go live life. Let's go do important things. Let's go cure cancer or do something that creates passion in people's lives. And it's having the commitment to do that. We also have the healing. Talked about that. You heal your way, I heal my way. But what's important is that we make the commitment to heal in our own way from what it is that we have been through, what you have gone through. Because if you're not allowed, believe me, and I tell you, that word annoys me, because we live in a society to where we're not allowed. There are some of you out there right now, I guarantee, that are judging me and my words because what I said about the dress. Guaranteed. We're not allowed to have an opinion. We're not allowed to express ourselves the way we desire to express ourselves. We're not allowed to grieve in the way that we are grieved. We're not allowed to heal in the way that we are healed, the way that we need to heal. And everybody is different. We're not allowed to make a commitment to something or someone and say, this doesn't work for me, without being called out about not putting enough time into it, or by not doing what society says that we should be doing by society standards. So there's that. And then we have the willpower card. And this is about having the willpower. Just do what you do, right? Grieve the way you need to grieve. Heal the way you need to heal. Change the way you need to change. And have the willpower to bring balance to all of that, to what is. All right, here we go. I should have did this first, but they're here now. Look at that. Look at that. We have broken heart, we have deceit, and we have hostilities. So there most definitely was a situation here, or an issue here, that was very heartbreaking for you. And seeing how the commitment card came up here, I can't help to wonder if you were married and this person manipulated you, deceived you. The hostilities, chaos, abuse, any type of abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, And it is a very heartbreaking thing. I've been there. I'm not going to relay the story to you, but from the age of 13 to the age of 20 something. And I feel like the Cupid card here is remembering that regardless of how other people feel about you, what other people think about you, or what other people do to you, have enough love for yourself to not just heal, but to make a commitment to come back and show them that you are more than, one, what they've done to you, and two, the pain and hurt that they projected onto you, and three, how they left you, right? I will say that when I was rescued from my predators, plural form, more than one, abusers, plural form, more than one, I had a very hard time with acknowledging my own strength. I had a very hard time with standing in a position of power and authority over my own life. And it wasn't until I was in my early 30s, mid 30s, when a boyfriend put his hand on me. And I had flashbacks of all of that had happened to me from 13 to 20 something. And I did not fold. I did not shrivel. I stood up and took a step back. And what happened next was the end of that relationship, and I was all the better for it. So sometimes we got to stand up, and we got to take a step back, and we got to show the people who do things like this to us that we are in a position of power, that we are the strong ones, that we are the courageous ones, that we are the brave ones, that regardless of what was done to us, that we can stand in our power, we can stand in our divine feminine, divine masculine, and be the version of us who we desire to be. Release the damage. And I know that some of the damage is never released. And I know that some of that damage is always a part of who we are. I recognize that. I understand that. I live with it. But there are some parts of that if we were to work on healing, releasing, and letting go, that it would be easier for that powerful version of ourselves to step forward and stand in the light. All right, there you have it. Hope this helps. Know that you are divinely guided and loved. Talk soon.